now, but talk a little bit about how you felt that was something that you could really inspire people with. And because again, people who follow you on Instagram see a lot of stuff that you do in terms of that, like nutrition. Explain why you think that was super important to get into for yourself.
Absolutely. So it's another key point of wellness, and I'm glad that you're getting into it because I actually made it a point to do visualization practices before I really wanted to dive deep into meditation. I would visualize before all my games, and I'll tell you, I performed at such a high level. I played the best season of basketball probably in my life because I would visualize the details of how I wanted to play, who I'd be passing to, how my shot would look, how it would feel when the ball went through the net, all these little details, and really creating that atmosphere in my mind so that my brain was able to pattern itself and really prime itself for performance, right? So visualization is a key and one thing that you can do in a meditative type of setting. And so meditation is such a great topic, and I love talking about it because there's so many different kinds of meditation out there. And a lot of times when you say meditation, people think you need to be sitting out with the monks in the Himalayas and just be by yourself and quiet the mind and sit. But there's so many different forms of meditation, right? You can walk and you can just be listening to the sounds of nature like I am right now, and just really focus on the breath. And I feel like the main concept of meditation is going within yourself and understanding that you have so much power within yourself and you can control your physiology with your thoughts. Your thoughts actually become your reality, right? When you're thinking, you're producing all kinds of chemicals called hormones, and it's literally changing your physiology. We all know this. If you're, let's say, nervous before you're about to talk in public, or you're getting super amped up before you have to play in a game or something, you feel those changes in your body. It's a visceral response. You have that fight or flight response. Your heart rate increases, you start sweating a little bit, your pupils dilate, all these things happen because of your thoughts. So teaching people how to just make some time for themselves, I think, is the biggest thing with meditation, because a lot of people say, okay, I just don't have time. You can always find the time. It's those little moments throughout the day that can really form a huge session of meditation in and of itself. Sometimes I'll just be going for a walk and I'll stop and I'll just observe the squirrels and I'll see what they're doing. A lot of times I just look to nature to see what nature is doing, and I just ultimately cultivate gratitude from that standpoint, because it's like, wow, there's so much going on around me and the world is so big, and it kind of takes us out of our tunnel vision of whatever we're doing, whether we're just going for a walk or we're busy doing our day-to-day things. It's like taking a step back and saying, okay, look, life is super precious. Let me just take a couple deep breaths and feel good. And it can totally change your state of being, and it can really raise your energy. And it doesn't take a long time. It's literally just putting your attention on the breath. But if you ask yourself, how many times am I actually stopping what I'm doing to just focus on how I'm breathing, right? Am I breathing in my belly? Am I breathing really shallow, or is my breath deep? And just being an observer from a non-judgmental point of view. So just noticing it, and then from there you can make a conscious decision to choose how you're breathing, right? So if you're nervous before a test, for example, you can do simple breathing exercises to just breathe in your belly and tell your body that everything's okay. Because when you get really worked up and when you're really busy and you're running 9 to 5 all the time, go, 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 you're running in a state of sympathetic. And that's the same as being chased by a tiger, right? So your test anxiety could be the equivalent of you being chased by a tiger, life or death, right? And you consciously, you know that you're not going to die, but your body has the same physiological response. So it's about teaching your body how to get into a parasympathetic state of being, which is the rest and repair and digest system. And so obviously we're engaged in this when we're doing things like meditation. And that's one of the greatest benefits of meditation, I think, is you're stimulating the parasympathetic, you're taking a step back, and you're giving your body a chance to repair and recoup.
Yeah, that's one reason I see athletes like Tom Brady,
Hmm.
LeBron, the top athletes succeed so well is because of the meditation aspect. I think I want to jump into quickly too. So you also are involved in strength training, and I've heard from many strength training coaches, and I've been around a lot of them, right? So they have different philosophies of how they approach things. You do different kind of exercises, right? You do stuff where you're doing split squats with a chain on your back to just doing regular kind of body weight stuff, right? Talk about that And then also talk about kind of the flexibility, pliability aspect too, because I never really stretched at all most of my life, right? And because it takes too much time. And then now I've started to get into it more because I read how much of a beneficial aspect it has for you long term. So just talk about how you, when you train with clients, the strength training component and also the pliability stretching component that you implement in your workout sessions.
Mike, that's such a great question because I feel like a lot of athletes aren't educated about things like yoga and flexibility more than just standard static stretching. And I think the key part about any movement practice, whether it be strength training or gymnastics or whatever sport you're playing, is to be curious with the way your body moves. And first of all, be inside your body. And what do I mean by this? I mean, doing things like yoga, where you connect that meditation aspect, where you're bringing the breath and you're connecting it to the way your body moves, and you're increasing your proprioception and you're establishing all these new motor patterns, and you're really just being fluid, right? It's like poetry. You're fluid and you're in motion and you're moving like water through these different poses. And so I play around with all these different movements, like you said, first and foremost, because I love to be creative, right? Strength training and yoga and animal flows and all these different kinds of movements are a way for me to express creativity. And of course, I love to do traditional strength training. But for me, just doing 3 sets of 10 or 12 for standard exercises, working out for an hour in a gym is not how I want to work out anymore. And can you get benefits from that? Absolutely. I spent time doing that and I did. But now with me being in grad school and having limited amounts of time, I'm really trying to optimize my workouts by making them, first of all, fun. And second of all, really time efficient and effective, because I still want to take care of my body and make sure I'm stimulating all the different muscle groups, and I really want to ensure a proper mind muscle connection. And so one of the things that I started implementing with my clients is actually setting an intention before starting the practice, like you would for yoga. So whatever you're trying to cultivate for a movement session, whether it be yoga, whether it be strength training, or just a stretching session, just setting an intention of what you'd like to receive from that session or what you're trying to cultivate during that session. And I got great feedback from my clients, really enjoyed it. And they felt like they were more in their bodies and they were more in tune, which can really help when you think about the mind muscle connection, right? So obviously when you're engaging in all these different types of movements, it's really important to understand what muscles am I actually engaging and really visualize it while you're performing the lift. Okay, if I'm bench pressing, I want to feel my chest first and foremost, and then I want to feel my shoulders engage and my triceps. And it's like this sequential movement, and you're really engaging every single muscle fiber that you can possibly imagine when you're placing your attention on it. And it goes to this general concept of nature, where wherever you put your attention is where your energy flows, right? So while I'm working out, if I'm thinking about what I'm having for dinner, I'm probably not engaging all the right muscles, right? But if I'm really focused on engaging all the muscles in my chest and all the parts of the movement and breaking it down and really trying to feel what it feels like to feel strong through it, whatever movement you're doing, you can have tremendous gains. And that's what I've found to be super helpful for me.
If you like that clip from the Shred Takes podcast show, I encourage you to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, if you want to check out the full episode in its entirety, go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify to view the full episodes.